North Hills West Neighborhood Council. This is our general board meeting. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, roll call. Carol, you said?
Don McGovern.
Here.
Chad Gibson.
Here.
Deborah Lucas. Here. I'm here. Dave Brown.
Here.
David Hyman.
Present.
Nancy Sander.
Here.
Gary.
Here.
Gunnar Lobel.
Here.
Mike Khalid.
Here.
Armando Diaz.
Here.
Carlos Mike.
Here.
All present and accounted for.
Thank you. Quorum has been met. Number 2, general public comments.
Our first speaker tonight will be Linda Mulbach.
As I said, my name is Linda Mollmeyer, and I represent the CERT program. This is my neighborhood council also, so it makes it very convenient. It's 2 in 1. It's the first time I'm going to several different councils this month, so I've been very busy. I just want to tell you about the CERT program, and I see you do have a book with Amy in it. I don't know if it's noticed, but CERT means Community Emergency Response Team. A proper overview, it is a free course, and you can take it 7 weeks worth. I think it's about an hour and a half each. To say it's free. But the Los Angeles Fire Department, the CERT program was developed because of the need of a well-trained civilian emergency force. It provides for the community self-sufficiency through the development of multifunctional response teams who act as an adjunct to cease emergency services during major disasters. Emergencies happen, certain members can give critical support to first responders and provide immediate assistance to victims. Certain members can also assist with non-emergency projects that help improve the safety of the community. Through this unique program, people from community organizations, businesses, and industry, and city employee groups become CERT members. They work as team members and perform as individual leaders by directing untrained volunteers in the initial phase of emergency. I noticed you have this also. This is coming up in a couple of weeks. Excellent. It's every year. And there's a lot of good things there. The kids love it. They give away, I think it's for the first 500 people, emergency kits to start out your kids at home. Now, as far as the CERT program goes, I did it for 3 years. I am a co-coordinator right now of Battalion 10, which is your battalion. We do go out on drills, but I'm going in October. As far as the training goes, there are 7 weeks. Each week has a level. The first level, you learn about earthquakes and big disasters. Second week is the fire suppression. We're going to use a fire extinguisher. Third week, it's the medical operations, part 1. You learn to do triage. The second part of the medical operations is week number 4. And you learn how to do hand-to-toe evaluation. See if there's broken bones or anything else. And you put it in handy if you're going home, actually, if you've got kids. Next class, life search and rescue. And team organization is class number 6, and the last class is terrorism and homeland safety. So it's pretty valuable. I really learned a lot. We do all the classes Like I said, it's a similar thing taught by the LA Fire Department and paramedics, and do teach you CPR, so you can use your cars that way. And we do go out on drills. In fact, there were 3 drills last week. Not drills, they're actually actual call-outs. I'm a call-out team, and the firemen needed water and Gatorade, and he's come back to fight these fires that last a long time. So they called us out to different fire stations, pick up the ice and pick up the water, and go out there to address Hollywood fire. It's a long fire. It was really hot all week, so they needed us. So we did that. So wherever they needed, whether it's in the doing a fire here or rescue there, you know, it can be a strain, but if you're not able to do that, we do need scribes to do that as well. So in any capacity you can serve, if you like. If you don't want to, just want to serve training, this is valuable for that as well. But we want to get everybody out there to be able to make your area sustain. So if there's a major quake or any emergency like that, we want the neighborhoods to be safe and being self-sustaining for a few days, because the fire department and emergency vehicles are not going to help you for probably 4 days. So you need to be able to take care of yourself really. You have food and water and your first aid stuff all done. These all help. Hey, all right, the shoe stick might be so bad, your bills might be down. You don't know where you have electricity or water. You got to know to survive. You just have to know how to do that. And a CERT program teaches you how to do that. How to save your loved ones to survive this for 4 days. So if you're interested, I have a flyer and my email address is up there. Okay? So,
Thank you, Linda.
Okay?
Appreciate it.
All right. Thank you. And come to the fire department.
Thank you for your comments, Linda. The
Right.
next
Thank
speaker
you.
under general public comments will be William Kuzma.
Good evening, everyone. My name is William Kuzman. First of all, I want to congratulate the board on getting the agendas emailed out to the stakeholders in the database. That's a great progressive thing that you've done, so thank you. I'm here to let you know about a grassroots organization of stakeholders that have formed the Stakeholders Empowerment Enlightenment Coalition. And our website address is seec-reform.com. This group formed at the beginning of the month. We had our first meeting on September the 16th, and our next meeting will be on October 27th. Our mission is to empower stakeholders with the tools to enlighten and effect positive reform of the neighborhood council system, which was created by charter amendment of the City of Los Angeles, to enlighten the City Council as to the Department of Neighborhood Empowerment's failure to provide sufficient support, assistance, and oversight to the individual neighborhood councils in compliance with the goals and purposes as stated in the Neighborhood Council Plan Ordinance. Our vision: a City of Los Angeles neighborhood council system in which every stakeholder is encouraged and empowered to participate in the business of neighborhood councils and to demand that the respective board of directors represent the stakeholders in all related community matters. In addition, we envision that all neighborhood councils board operate in full compliance with applicable laws, the Brown Act, California Public Records Act, neighborhood council bylaws, codes of civility, and Department of Neighborhood Empowerment resolutions, rules, regulations, and best practices guidelines with honesty, openness, and transparency. Thank you. May I put flyers at the back, and I have flyers for you up front.
Thank you, William. Okay, next up I have one extra on round 2. Do you have any more?
Yes.
We do.
Next, we have Mariana Perez.
Good evening. Yesterday I started receiving agendas. I received one for general meeting, then I received another one for a special board meeting, and then I received another one for a joint special meeting. When I went to the website, and I went to both of them, but as of yesterday, I have a screenshot here. This one is at 3:32 this afternoon, although it's the same as it was yesterday. The only thing that was being reflected is the general board meeting and the special board meeting that starts at 8:30. So you're not in compliance then at 5:58. We have all 3 meetings. So there is a ground violation there. They haven't posted your agendas properly.
Thank you for your comment.
You're welcome.
Next up is Glenn Bailey.
Good evening, board members. Glenn Bailey, I just wanted to give you an update regarding Langton Bank, the Valley Alliance of Neighborhood Councils, and the LA Neighborhood Council Coalition. First, because of Yom Kippur, the first Saturday of the month meetings have been moved to the third Saturday, which would be October 18th. So for those of you that go to the DWP MOU meeting, which you're all invited to, but you have one person who's been designated as your MOU rep, and also for the LANC, those are both going to be the same format, just 2 weeks later. I'm not sure if it'll be at Hollywood still or if it'll be at WWP, so pay attention to that. And just in terms of your skip planning. Regarding the Valley Alliance, we have a couple of important things coming up I just would like to make sure the entire board and all the stakeholders are aware of. And that is that in lieu of our regular second Thursday meeting, there will be a candidate debate for the 5th supervisorial district. Third supervisorial district, and that's the seat that Zev Yaroslavsky currently has. And this will be the only opportunity of a neighborhood council focused or hosted group. So that's going to be on the second Thursday of October, which would be the October 9th. And so watch for the flyer on that. I think it's coming out shortly. I don't think you'll have a meeting before then.
That's agendized on our next meeting at 8:30.
Sorry.
Just so you know, that's okay.
Yeah, I'm sorry, I didn't see that agenda, so thank you. Great. And then, so probably you may also have agendized then the planning forum. Okay, so you'll probably talk about that then. So I guess I can go sit down.
No, Nancy, to make some extra copies of that one.
Okay. So let me just a few words on the, everyone knows what a candidate debate is, but you may not know what a VANC planning forum is, because it's only held every few years. And it is an opportunity for all the Valley Neighborhood Council board members and also the Planning and Land Use Committee members, non-board member stakeholders around planning and land use, to really delve deep on planning and land use issues with breakout workout sessions, everything from Planning 101 all the way to very detailed discussion of issues such as cell towers, conditional use permits, variances, whatever the topics of the day that neighborhood councils have given input on. They organize workshops with experts from neighborhood councils, from the city, from private developer type folks as a panel for each of these separate breakout workshops. And there's usually, I think, 2 that you do one, then you switch over to another. So that's happening in December, so I guess that'll be on your agenda then. But I do want to ask if you could particularly save that date on your calendar, keep that date free, and do plan to attend. Last year we had about, a couple of years ago we had about 250 attendees of neighborhood council folks from throughout the valley. So that would be something we really want to encourage you to attend. I think you'll find it very informative. And before my time runs out, because I don't know if on your other agenda you've got the Neighborhood Council Budget Advocates. I know you've got a budget advocate on your board here, but the budget advocates are meeting at the end of the Congress on Saturday. Last I heard, unless that changed today, and I didn't see the email. But we are planning to do Regional Budget Day on October 11th at the Brownie Building in Van Nuys. I don't have a time for sure yet on that, but that is something that, watch your emails on that, because we do encourage, it's not just for the budget reps and the budget advocates, it's actually more important that the neighborhood council board members and stakeholders attend, because it's an opportunity for the mayor and the CAO to get input from you on what you feel, what city services you feel should be fully funded, what in terms of various tax proposals, how do you feel about some of those things. So they're looking at about $160 million deficit still for this projected the upcoming year. So there are going to have to be some tough decisions. So that opportunity is, there'll be 5 of them throughout the city on the same day. That will be the opportunity for the valley. So with that, I will thank you for your time.
Thanks, Glenn. Okay, there's none others than public comment, and we're going to go into our public speaker setup right now. And one thing before we get started is that I had written on the agenda that Bob Hertzberg was the state senator, but he is a candidate for the state senate. So at that point, since he's in, you want to go ahead and get started here, Bob? Thank you. Yeah, go right for it. Thank you.
Hi, everybody.
John, point of order.
Who just called him?
Yes, nothing for or against Mr. Hertzberg, but since he is a candidate, I believe there's a rule that there must be equal time.
There is
presented to
equal
all
time. That
candidates.
person's coming next month. Been invited, Carol already
Okay,
took care of it.
thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. 2 minutes or 3? Huh? Days, yeah, what am I doing, 10 minutes? I don't know. I know a lot of you, my name is Bob Hertzberg. This room, just on a personal note, is very personal to me because for a lot of years I lived in Sam and Helen Greenberg's house on the corner of Chandler and Hazelton that they built in March of 1965. And I bought it from the family after the earthquake. And, coming to Sam's Cafe is always an emotional experience. But if some of you remember, I served in government a number of years ago as a member of the Assembly and the Speaker of the House in about 2000 to 2002, representing the San Fernando Valley. Assembly districts are about 500,000 people, a little bit less in terms of size. And the district then, because the lines were drawn every 10 years, was from Cahuenga to Topanga, really the heartland of the valley. This district was Senator Padilla's district. We put together a nonpartisan commission which redrew the lines. And for the first time, we actually have a fair set of lines in the valley where we have an East District and a West District. So this is the East District that I'm looking to represent, which goes farther from Northridge all the way to a part of Burbank. It takes in Universal City, and it travels, it's much farther south than what the old district was. The old district basically stopped pretty much at Victory with a couple of exceptions. This goes all the way to Mulholland. So it's Mulholland, and it comes all the way up along the 405, out Northridge, around Granada Hills, on the whole top of the valley, and around the other side. So it's a pretty big district. It's about 1 million people. And what's different in the state level of government than at the city level of government, the state level of government is partisan. In our reform movement many years ago, we made all local governments, counties, and cities nonpartisan. So if it's a nonpartisan race under the Constitution, if somebody gets 50% plus one in a race, they get elected. At the state level, that's not the case. In my party, I had no opponent in the election, and I got nearly 2/3 of the vote, but I have to run again. And I've run a very aggressive campaign. I was here on the 15th of May. I'm back because I said I'd be back. I'll be back again. And I really believe it's important, even though you represent 1 million people, that's many more people than a member of Congress represents, and that's many more people than a lot of governors of states represent. But I think it's really important to have both a close connection to the community to make your job legitimate. So I've worked very, very hard. I'm running all over the place. Hopefully some of you guys got my pot holders in the mail. You're going to get more handwritten notes, and not pot holders this time, but recycle bags, and the like. We're doing coffees, we're doing the homework. And so bottom line is, it's just really, really personally important to me. I don't think you can be a legitimate representative unless you do the homework and have a connection to the people. We went door to door and had a survey with folks during the campaign. Just recently, which is really no one really ever does. I have enough money to be able to do that, which is kind of not normally the case, but it works pretty well. Now, a couple other points that I just want to make quickly, because I'll take a lot less than 10 minutes. The role of the state is very, very important. 72% of all the state money that comes from the state goes to local governments, to the cities, to the counties, to special districts, and the like. We just simply allocate those dollars. So the role is very, very important. How does it affect us every day in the San Fernando Valley? You don't normally see state senators or assembly members in terms of your day-to-day effect, because we're much more on the wholesale side, if you will, as opposed to the retail side, the city council members and the like you see every day. But let's look at some examples. One, when I was in government, we wrote the law to provide sales tax
on gasoline to go for roads, so that even though your roads aren't paved as much, they'd be paved a lot less, to the tunes of billions of dollars if that money didn't exist. Two, although we're north of Roscoe here, there wasn't a sound hole in the San Fernando Valley before I got elected, south of Roscoe. We put those in. Three, when I first became speaker, my very first day when I went to the governor's office, they were talking about $265 million for transportation on Crenshaw. I said, where's the $265 million for the San Fernando Valley? And we got it. We have an orange line. Cash came in, we made it happen. There's very real things in Northeast Valley, the CLEAR program, dramatically reducing gangs, the park money, millions and millions of dollars for all this new park money that you've seen, the new parks, all the new school construction you've been able to see, stuff from the state. So although often it doesn't feel like we're available and we're present, it's dramatically important. It has dramatic impacts on your life, mental health, health services, all kinds of things that are funded by the county, but those things come from the state. So I'm going to be 60 years old if I'm fortunate enough to be elected and sworn in on November 4th and sworn in December 1st. Unfortunately, just to be very personal, this is how I do business. You know, I'm no longer married for the last number of years. I would never run for office if I was married, to be honest with you, because it's just, you can't work till 3 o'clock in the morning, no matter how hard you're working, and come home and not get in trouble. You know, if you're just working, because it's just not the way it is. And I'm the kind of guy who works till 3 o'clock in the morning. My kids are out of school, and I got time to really do the homework and to really delve in. The water issue is not going away. We're seeing the beginning of it. Real important issues. There's a lot of big stuff. And so I really want to come back. I've spent the last number of years traveling the world, taking a couple of companies public, doing some interesting things. And I want to use that experience in government to really bring home some deliverables to the Valley. It's what I like to do. It's important to me. It's my wheelhouse. It's my DNA. You know, so I'm really doing the homework. I'm studying like crazy on issues, even though I'm a pretty good student. And lastly, I'm right here coming out, doing the homework, talking to folks, doing coffees, and really doing stuff. So I really appreciate the amount of time you've given me. Happy to answer any questions anybody may have. I know equal time with respect to my opponent, which is appropriate. I appreciate that. And, you know, I got elected as Speaker on the first time in 50 years, irrespective of party, unanimously, because I respect the democracy and listen to folks and do the homework. And I don't play the partisan games. I didn't do it before, and I won't do it again. Happy to take any questions, and thank you very much. Palm Springs High School. Yeah, I was born in Los Angeles, but back in those days, they didn't have special education. And my oldest brother had cerebral palsy. And they would let him be the water boy of the football team to attend public high school. And he didn't want to be, he went to Brentwood Military Academy and Westminster Day School, but I grew up, was born in downtown Los Angeles at Temple Hospital. So I went there with my older brother, and then we came back. So it was just a function of my brother. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yes, Bob. Mission Hills Community Police Advisory Board just initiated a new ad hoc committee specifically tasked with dealing with illegal fireworks, which, as most of us are aware, are available on an intermittent geographic basis throughout California. Although all fireworks are illegal in LA County, you can go to Oxnard, San Bernardino, Palm Springs, anywhere.
It's a local option.
And get the huge heavy-duty stuff. Nobody has an issue with the light stuff. What would you think about statewide legislation requiring permitting, maybe not as severe as ammunition or something like that, for the heavy-duty professional stuff on a statewide basis? The issue to be addressed is intermittent geographical sales with a crazy quilt of enforcement variations, and it's a real problem. Mercifully, we have not had a huge brush fire caused by illegal fireworks that we're aware of yet, but it's got to be around the corner.
Yeah. I mean, I'll tell you what I think out loud. Generally, I want to devolve power. I want to bring government closer to people. I want to bring more money, more decisions, more responsibility closer to people. I want to come back, if I'm fortunate enough to get elected to the Senate, and put together from neighborhood councils, which is an interim step, to do borough system, which I recommended a dozen years ago, and really give real power to the community. That being said, so I generally will default toward the notion of devolving power and bringing government closer to people. The challenge that you raise is a different set of factors because you can go and buy this stuff in another jurisdiction and cause problems. So I I don't know. I mean, I look at it at a different level because some of this stuff's pretty heavy-duty stuff. And I think it's different. I don't have an answer to it. I apologize. I'm just thinking out loud with you. But generally, I like more power to the people locally. More power to more. But I want to do everything I can to push power locally. But this is a different issue because you do have big risks. So I would entertain it. I just don't know the answers off the top of my head. I just give you my thinking.
Thank you. Go ahead, Darren.
Yes, Mr. Hertzberg. Should you be elected, and you may have already kind of answered some of this, but what would be your 3 top objectives for the community, for the state, to accomplish during your term in office?
I'll tell you. Since I've been out of government, I've been working mainly on renewable energy issues, traveling the world, working on renewable energy and clean energy things. I've also quietly behind the scenes worked on 5 major reforms that it's one of the reasons why I'm going back in. First, 50% plus one of the budgets will stop these horrible budget delays. 2, redistricting so we get the politicians, and I took a lot of heat from my party, out of the redistricting process. 3, open primary, which I'm now facing. 4, a term limit change to the 12 years. And 5, I have on the governor's desk right now, I've been working for a year and a half, on initiative reform to hopefully have fewer initiatives, and if you have them, make them less mistakes and more easy to understand, and find out where the money's coming from. That to me levels the playing field. The next big factor here to me is tax. And the tax issue is not how much you pay, but how the tax structure works. In my experience working 11 budgets in California in a very intimate way, we have this horrible volatile system. Our system doesn't make sense. We have to modernize the tax structure. I've been working now on it for 4 years on the Think Long Committee with both Democrat and Republican Director of Finance to really come up with a new model that both does 2 things. Takes out the volatility without changing the nature of how it works. And 2, devolves authority locally. So tax would be 1. You're going to see me introduce a bill on that. 2, water. I have, since when I was a little kid, when I was in college, I worked and did my dissertation on water. I did all the major agreements on water. I did the lining of the All-American Canal, the quantification settlement agreement. I'm very deeply involved in the issue and was just recently served on a 50-year panel for planning for water in Southern California with the Metropolitan Water District. The San Fernando Valley is unique in that it's a alluvial fan. It is a place where we can be reliant on our own. The finances are there. The money's changed. $8 or $80 an acre foot for metropolitan water. There are 100 ways to fix this problem. We got $890 million in the budget for groundwater. There's private sector companies that do some pump back systems. There are ways to save water. And there's 100 things to do. We've got to solve that because this drought stuff is not going away next year, the year after, the year after. Because it's a big systemic problem in terms of water. 3, I'm working on a plan, I got a ton of ideas, but I'm working on a plan for higher education that basically is an intelligent, thoughtful way so these kids who go to school and graduate from the UC system and the state university system are not burdened with a lifetime of debt that they can never get out from under. The great genius of California is higher education and the draw that it brings from around the world. I've been all over the world and I've seen it. Big, huge issue. Energy efficiency, there's a ton of other issues, but what I intend to do, as I did when I was Speaker of the House, is I work with other members. I give them other ideas and other bills and help them along. So whether you see my name on it or not is not relevant. The question is, what does the deliverable look like? And does the quality of life, education, public safety, all those issues improve in California? And I've been given a lot of thought over a lot of years, but those are 3 quick issues.
Thank you. Appreciate your time.
Thank you, sir.
Thanks, everybody. Appreciate it very, very much.
Okay, I see Tony Cardenas' office is not here as rep, so I'm going to go over to Councilman Englander's office. Ron Ravina is here. Go ahead, Ron.
I was told never to follow Bob Hertzberg or Deborah Perkins, and so it's going to be tough. Anyway,
I talked out, I heard.
I was 6th grade president of Lakeside Junior High, Bob, so I got my platform was Red Zingers and every backpack. That was my one plank in my platform. I'm dating myself at Red Zingers, but I hosted, remember those things? Got it going on. Anyway, not a lot to share. I just came from an event where a number of you were in attendance. That's my little, now I understand why you want your placard there, Carol. I'll make those for everybody. How's that? If somebody on your staff can email me a PDF or a JPEG of your logo, I'll make sure I'll supplant ours with yours. We'll put them all on. Anyway, just a couple of things that are coming up. We have an interfaith breakfast. It's our second annual, and it's the first one was wonderful, and it was truly interfaith. It was at St. Stephen's Presbyterian Church in Chatsworth, and the focus was hunger and food security and pantries. We had all the eminent folk in LA who deal with those issues, from the LA Regional Food Bank to local folks who deal with, who actually run pantries, to the Valley Interfaith Council and the person on their staff who deals with those issues. So that was a huge success. We had invocation from a rabbi, from a priest, and it was truly an interfaith, intercultural, multi-denominational event that was very successful. So on November 3rd, we're having our second annual one, and it's on homelessness and shelters. And so I'll send information out to you folks. I'll email you. You're all welcome to come. It's going to be at Temple Ahavat Shalom, which I think is in right over there. So maybe Coronado Hills. That kind of that way. But all the information will be there. And again, it's one of those things that's open to the public. We have a very esteemed panel of experts in the field of homelessness and shelters, especially as it relates to veterans, children, families. And it's going to be a very action-oriented event, and it includes a breakfast. And Councilman Eagler MCs moderates the thing, and it's just a really wonderful event. So I'll send information through you. You can post it on the website. It's open to everybody. And so that's the kind of stuff we do on a regular basis. CERT training, great to hear about that. I don't know if you institutional history-wise, but I believe after the '94 quake, I think it was Hal Burnson and along with the LAFD captain that were the architects of the CERT training. Your old, remember Hal Burnson? We got Nicole working on us. There you go, Hal. I don't. I heard that. Hal's still around a lot. He still hangs out. Anyway, Councilman Eagler is the public safety chair, so all these things are dear to his heart. The Valley disaster preparedness, all that stuff. He's going to be there in all his glory. And other than that, we're just working every day to improve the quality of life for constituents, and a very, very active team of people. So, any questions?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you know what the date is for the solid pasta dinner? Because I believe that's coming up in October, and it might be before our next board meeting.
I don't have a solid date. I'm kidding. No, I don't know about that. I can.
Does that mean you're not a prostitute?
Wow, I could have gone there too. That's good. That's even better. I do love pasta. I know it's solid. Tanya would be the one as a public. It's 17th? 17th. Thank you, Clint. 17th of October? October? Yes. Okay, 17th of October. St. Nicholas, 5 to 7:30. And okay, good. That's fantastic. Thanks everybody, and thanks for coming. Wherever you are, Gary, and I can't without your placard. I don't know you guys. And then Carol. Yeah. Thanks.
Thank you, Ron. Next, we have up the LA Unified School District's board member, Tamar Galatson's office rep, which is David Azevedo.